Hey guys, David Patrick Green here, hackhollywood.com, hackbollywood.in. Please subscribe to my channel if you like this video. In fact, please subscribe even if you don't. Listen guys, I have some amazing news, and that is, as kind of scary and depressing and disappointing as this whole coronavirus situation is, you know, it's a big indicator of where the society is going. And now that we've seen shows like American Idol and the newscasters and everybody shooting out of their house, guess what? All those anxieties you had about whether you had to do things professionally and everyone who was telling you you couldn't, shame on those people for not thinking out of the box, because, you know, this is typical humanity. Often people have to be forced to think out of the box as a society, but you don't have to wait to think out of the box. And I've always been thinking out of the box as much as possible. And I've always been thinking to myself, you know, I'm gonna shoot this audition at home. Why? Because I want to, because it's preferable, it's better for me. And I'm the one who's going to be acting, and I'm the one who's got to prepare the material. So why shouldn't I, right? And a lot of people resist it, especially agents and casting directors. You know, people have very small minds in general. And then somebody that they respect does something and they're like, oh, we should all do it this way. Anyway, that's my life story in a nutshell. But guess what, guys? It's finally becoming acceptable to do this stuff, and it's not going to go back. Because if it was good enough one time, why isn't it good enough all the time? So get used to it and prepare for it. Start to take ownership and responsibility, because we live in a world now where you kind of have to live by your own wits more and more and more. You know, despite the fact that we have coronavirus issues, etc., the world is becoming more unstable, shall we say? And it wasn't stable for very long. Really, we think that it was stable for a long time, but really it's only been stable since World War II, because they created the League of Nations, which became the United Nations. We've got the World Health Organization. You know, we've got a lot of global organizations because we can communicate globally. But at the same time as you can communicate globally, that means problems become global as well. And so, you know, the ability of resources to move and change, you know, like all of the manufacturing left the United States, I don't know, in the 70s, and went to countries like Mexico and China, and because it was much cheaper. And that kind of thing is just going to keep going on and on and on. So workforces have to be mobile and agile and able to make changes, even if workforces still exist in the future. Who knows, right? So the bottom line is, guys, this is a great opportunity for those of you who are prepared to kind of get one step ahead of the curve instead of always staying one step behind the curve. Because if you stay one step behind the curve, that means you're waiting for someone to give you permission to do things. And then by the time you go, oh, I guess it's okay now, well, everybody else is doing it too. And so, you know, it's of no use to you. But if you think ahead a little bit, then you can go, well, it looks like this is happening, so therefore this is coming, so this is what I should be doing. This is how I should prepare my skills. This is what I need to learn about technology. This is what I need to do in terms of maintaining relationships. Okay? Don't copy other people. That's the last thing you should do, because all these other people are copying someone else. So you're just copying someone who's a copycat. Okay, so you want to be trying to think for yourself, doing original things, and wow, that was loud. Doing original things, but everything I'm saying right now is all about creating your own independent little business model. And the more unique it is, and the more able you are to deliver what it is you have to offer to the people who you figure need what you have to offer, whether that's acting or whatever else you decide, then the more in demand your skills, your services, your resources will be. So whatever it is you have, if you communicate what you have clearly to the people who you think need it, then it's going to be really easy for them to choose you, and they will come back to you over and over and over. So just start with one person, start with one skill with one person. So like, what do you have that they need, and start reaching out in the most direct way possible. If you can't hook up with them face to face, try to phone them. If you can't phone them, then send them an email. If they don't respond to your email, send them another email. If they don't respond to any of your emails, try to find them on social media and tell them you sent an email and did they get it. And just follow the old FU until you hear FU strategy. And trust me, it works almost every time. Just a little anecdote. My fiance was actually writing to some people she had interviewed with. She's kind of a corporate type person. And she was writing a follow-up, which I was bugging her to do. And anyway, I just said, hey, follow up in a fun manner. Don't tell them, don't regurgitate what's on their website. Try to create a connection and let them know you have a sense of humor and a personality, because then they will attach to you and they will want to follow up with you, rather than people that are like, here's all the words I think you want to hear. Because that just bores them to tears. And then they're like, yeah, well, we're not at the stage of following up yet. Whereas the person who engages and cracks a joke, says something funny about the situation, which I encouraged her to do, and she did, gets a response. And she got a response like that. So there it is, guys. That's my quick sort of lesson for the day. The world is changing. Get ahead of it. Don't wait around for other people to tell you what to do. Figure out what you've got, figure out who needs it, and create a bubble, an envelope in which your offerings live, okay? Sort of like creating a brand, but not exactly. But it's a perception of you, the person, and what you have to offer. And if you want to come up with a name for your brand, then, that's cool. But just know that your brand is extremely complex. And that's why I always tell actors to stop thinking of themselves as brands, because brands are way too simple. Procter & Gamble, I know what they do. Coca-Cola, I know what they do. But they're not a person. They don't change. They don't have good moods and bad moods and all that kind of stuff. So just let people get to know you little by little, and they will trust you a little bit more every time, and they will know when to call on you and know when to call on someone else. But actually, they won't know when to call on other people, because those people won't be doing what you're doing, okay? And they'll be stuck sending headshots and forcing people to try and figure out who they are based on a tiny little photo. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. I will talk to you soon.